my name is Kate. I'm also known as Two Little Kits, and welcome to my FlossTube. My brain is very chaotic at the moment, so this is likely going to be a all over the place episode. I haven't properly written notes for it. I tried, but these past 2 weeks have been a lot. So let's get started. So the first thing that I want to talk about is actually IRL adjacent, and normally I leave that till the very end of the episode, but just bear with me. We're going to break up the IRL part into 2 parts because I have to talk about this first. So I got to stand up for it though. Actually first, before I stand up, I mentioned in my last FlossTube that I was getting a tattoo, and it's happened, and I'm excited, and it was very painful, but I did it, and I want to show you, but I've got to stand up because otherwise it's upside down. So there it is. It's on my forearm, just like before the bend of my elbow. It's really hard to show off on the camera, so I'm kind of like kneeling on my chair, but it's my 2 little kits on me, on my arm, permanently. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's actually, thankfully, looking really nice today. It has been peeling a little bit in the last like 2 or 3 days. What do you think? Tell me what you think. I hope you love it. I posted it online when it was done before I got the second skin put on it. Today it's actually I've timed this really well. It's looking really nice just overall, because yesterday even the you can kind of see, maybe there's like a line on my wrist and down the side of my arm where you can see where the second skin was, which is like a big adhesive, like clear sticker thing that I had to leave on for 2 to 3 days. That gave me a bit of a rash, unfortunately. So that's actually been more irritating than the tattoo itself. But I had like a big rash sort of here, because that's a really sensitive part of your body, especially, you know, the sensitive part of the skin. And it was all red and angry, and yeah, so it's actually looking really nice today. But oh my gosh, I did it. I did it. This is my first tattoo. I will put a link in the description for the artist. His name is Glenn, and he goes by the name of Caledonia Tattoo. He's in Olympia, Washington. I highly recommend him. He was so patient and talked me through everything I should expect and what was going to happen next, and like what kind of pain level it would be, and like all of that sort of thing. So very happy with it. I keep getting a jump scare still because I've got this big dark picture on my arm. Yeah, I've timed it really well because the sun is showing itself more often lately, so I'm wearing short sleeves more often. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that first. So in saying that, let's move on to the stitchy stuff. The first thing I want to talk about is my newest pattern that's available on my website. It's called Free Action. It's a D&D-inspired pattern where it reads crying is a free action, and it basically just is like rolling a 1 on a d20 really sucks. Sometimes you just want to cry when that happens. In a nutshell. There's a lot more about it, but anyway, here's the piece itself. I really like it. I especially love the bottle here. I love how that came out. I did make one change between this and the pattern that you receive itself. So around the number 1, I've done a really subtle outline in backstitching. I decided while I was writing up the pattern itself that I didn't particularly like how that looked, and I've changed the pattern itself to be all around the number 1 cross stitch in this green here, or this teal, sorry, here. So instead of backstitching in this color, you do cross stitch just 1 square around the 1 itself. And I mean, I haven't tested it, but I'm like 99.9% certain it will look way better than what I'm showing you here. Either way, I would love to know your thoughts on this. Jump in the comments and let me know. And if you have stories about rolling a D1, a 1 on a D20 and stuff hitting the fan in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, let me know that in the comments too. That would be great, because it's always funny after the fact, basically. So you can get this on my website. It's also on my Ko-fi and my Etsy stores as well, if you prefer to shop there. I'm like high energy today. I've been putting off recording this again because I like having it done, but doing it is hard. I don't know why, it just is. Anyway, chaos. We're going with the chaos today. What should we talk about next? Let's talk about next weekend. So before I talk about next weekend, I want to talk about this weekend, as in when I release this past weekend. So the weekend of the 13th and 14th of June. It is the first out of 2 weekends for StitchCon, and that means that next weekend, the weekend of the 20th and 21st, is the second weekend of StitchCon, and I will be there. I'm very excited. I have already been starting to pack specifically my toiletries, because I just want to make sure that I've got everything in small packs so that I don't trigger anything with my luggage. With my, I'm not taking luggage, I'm taking just a carry-on, which is why I'm like trying to keep everything small and compact and little, because I don't want to have to pay extra fees, pretty much. Anyway, StitchCon, I'm very excited. I know I said last FlossTube that I was planning on writing a blog post that talks about the things that I'm going to pack that's like stitchy related, not clothes or anything like that, but stitchy related stuff that I'm planning on packing for StitchCon. I still haven't done that post, but I will be, and that's mostly because I want to pack. I want to plan what I am taking with me. I want to make sure that I don't run out of stuff to stitch, I guess. My way to combat that is I'm planning on taking the Heaven and Earth Designs full coverage big piece, because if I do somehow run out of things to work on, I know I won't finish that over the weekend, because that is massive. I'm very excited for StitchCon. If you are going to weekend B of that, jump in the comments, let me know. I am planning on meeting up with some people that I've met on Discord. I don't really know them, but I want to meet. I want to try and get over the social anxiety that I just live with day to day, and meet a bunch of people and hopefully make some friends that I can stay in touch with who are also stitchers. That would be amazing. The next thing I want to talk about is like a tangent from this coming weekend, and that is that there will not be a new pattern next week on my shop because of StitchCon, because of life. It just, this time of year is insane, and I'll talk about that in the IRL bit that I do at the end of the video. But yeah, just know that there will not be a new pattern or anything like that, like new merch or anything like that in my store, because I just have so much going on already, and I don't have a pattern ready to work on and like test stitch now beforehand and like get it ready in time for next Monday. So yeah, sorry about that. If that disappoints, my apologies. But I will be working very hard to get a pattern out the following fortnight, which will be the 6th of July. So yeah, ta-da. What should we talk about next? Let's do works in progress, because that's always fun. The first one that's in front of me is what I was considering making my thumbnail actually for this video, but I wanted to show off that and the finished piece. Anyway, this is Life at the Cottage Stitch Along by Needle Lot Designs. Part 4 came out and it was really, really fast to do. It was basically just all of the flowers and like leafy bits at the bottom here, as well as the like gravel at the front of the house. So it was much smaller, but I knew that that was gonna happen, that it was a really small part, this part, because she released how many stitches there were per part for the stitch along. But I think now with that out of the way, we're halfway through the stitch along. So isn't it cute? I'm really happy with the fabric that I chose as well. It makes for stitching one of the very first color in the list difficult, because it's this tan color here, which somehow looks really similar to my fabric, even if my fabric is like a peachy orangey sort of color. But yeah, that's where that is. And now I gotta wait 2 more weeks, I think. I'm gonna look it up because I'm curious. Yeah, 2 weeks. The 24th will be the next part. Let me know if you're doing this one too and how you're doing with it. That'd be great. Okay, my next stitch along is one that you haven't seen for 2 floss tubes, I think. At least 1 floss tube. It is Museum After Midnight by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. The first exhibit came out this past Friday, and the second one came out today as I'm recording this. I haven't started stitching that bit yet because I only just printed it out. But anyway, here's where we're at. So the first First exhibit is all the stuff down the bottom. That's not the arches. I can't see. So it's like aquarium-y kind of stuff. That actually like stitched up really fast. I only technically started working on it on Tuesday, I think. And I'm still learning from my past mistake with stitch-alongs, with especially her stitch-alongs. And I'm doing all the back stitching as I go. I'm not waiting until the end. So I'm learning. So that one is exhibit 1. As I said, exhibit 2 came out today. I probably won't rush working on exhibit 2 because I want to take this with me to StitchCon, because exhibit 3 will come out while I'm in Ohio, and that way I can, like, I don't know, flow and just keep working on it. That makes sense? But I might decide I really want to work on that. So who knows? We'll see what happens. And also let me know if you're working on that stitch along too and how you're doing with it. Okay. My next work in progress can be this one. This is Femurs and Fungi by Fine Frog Stitching. It was a stitch along, but it's not anymore. It's a few years old now. And I didn't pick it up when it was a stitch along. I just got it as a standalone pattern. But it's this here. I officially fixed the issue I had last FlossTube where I stitched the wrong color in place of a different color. I am working on the lightest sort of beaver gray color, and I'm working on this bit down here, and then I'm finished that color, and then I can keep going with all the really bright colors basically until I get to I think it's an off-white for the rest of the bones. So yeah, that one is coming along. This one will also come with me to StitchCon because I would love to have a finish at StitchCon, because you get to ring a bell when you do that. I want to join in. I want to do that too. So I'm going to make sure that this will come with me and I will try and finish it while I'm there. All right, what's next? We're going to leave that one till last because it's kind of sad. I'll explain in a sec. Anyway, this one's Cat Dragon House by Flossy Fox Shop. I've done a tiny bit on this, not a lot since last FlossTube. It's mostly just the gray here. I finished the orange. I'm pretty sure I was working on the orange last FlossTube. I haven't touched this one very much, but I do want to show you the back. Please ignore the knot that I have. I had like a tangle in my floss or something, but look at how much confetti stitch stuff there is. This is very typical of Flossy Fox Shop patterns. It makes me curious to see the backs of other people who stitch her patterns and how much people travel their floss, I guess, because I can't bring myself to do it, especially when I stitch in hand, because I don't know if I'm keeping the fabric taut properly. And that as a tangent, like I've realized recently that I have moved away from using hoops and Q-snaps quite a bit, which is just a fun fact. And interesting for me to have realized. It was actually when I was stitching this where I was like, this could fit into a hoop if I really wanted to stitch it in a hoop, but I don't want to. I like being able to do the sewing method, which I should talk about that on my website, the sewing method. Let me know in the comments if you know what the sewing method is. And if you don't, like, would you like to know what it means? Anyway, that's that piece there. I started working on, oh yeah, that's right. I started working on the green. So I finished the gray and I started doing the green. That's right. Ta-da! Okay, my next work in progress is proving myself to be a liar in a way, because I just said that I don't often stitch in a hoop or a Q-snap, and this one's in a hoop. So go me. This is a new work in progress. It's called Quilting Fox. It's by Nath Nolu, which I'm hoping I say correctly. It's this piece here, and I will put a picture of the finished piece up here. It's one of a series of 5 that I have purchased from them. I had to do the fox one first because, of course, I'm gonna definitely do the cross-stitching one next when this one's finished, but I'm not in a rush to get them all done. But I do have the fabric ready for 4 of them because it was all just one piece that I cut into quarters. I actually just recently got a new matching piece of fabric so that I can cut out, because the 5th one is new. I think it's a mouse crocheter. It's a new pattern. And so when I bought the original 4, it didn't exist yet. So I was like, well, this piece of fabric's perfect. It's just... Anyway, that's so far. Oh my gosh. I talked about it in my most recent Stitchy talk show episode where I really liked my favorite fabric count size is 18 count Aida. I like even weave. I love how even weave looks on a finished piece. Don't get me wrong. So I guess 36 count even weave, but I love the ease of counting in Aida. So I always use Aida. When I like stop and just look at this in the sunlight, it just looks so good because this is 18 count. It's just so tiny. I love it. Anyway, that's where that one is. And I have one more work in progress, which unfortunately is not up to date. It's my flower Prairie. I have been working on the last 2 weeks. I haven't caught up yet, but I've done all of the greens for the last 2 weeks. So you can see from here onwards is the last 2 weeks. So I've done, yeah, all the greens, and I've started on the colors. So it is behind, but this one will definitely come with me to StitchCon. And I plan on charting out the days up until StitchCon. So this weekend, that when I release this will have just passed, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll do a chart for that, and then I'm going to roll the dice every day that I'm at StitchCon and do each flower one at a time. That's my hope anyway. If I don't, then I can easily catch up. It's not a problem. But this one will definitely come with me too. And I'm pretty sure the Quilting Fox will come with me as well, because I know I didn't say that that would come. So that is that. I would love to know if you're doing any of the flower DIYs. If you are, which one you're doing and how you're going. So that's all of my works in progress. I haven't done any design stuff that's really of note in the last 2 weeks, so I don't have anything to share on that front. So we got 6 works in progress. Hooray! So what I was about to start talking about is just a ramble, I guess. I am thinking, because I'm gonna have a lot of time to stitch, that I will take my laptop. That one I'm like umming and ahhing about, but take my laptop so that I can do some website stuff, basically. And I'm also thinking about starting maybe 1 or 2 more works in progress, like kitting them up to take with me, because as you are very aware, I really like having variety in my works in progress. I just think before I continue, I'm either going to start kit up 1 or 2 new works in progress, or I'm going to be good and pick up one of these pre-existing works in progress. Potentially the Lola Crow's library, the haunted library, but I have other stuff available too. Like, what have I got? I got the library. I've got the Secret Grove. Oh yeah, I've got, was it Frost Magic Stitch Along by Flossie Fox Shop. That one is hard because it's on black. So it might actually be worth taking that because it's going to be very bright there. It might be good to work on while I'm there. I have my own family portraits, which I really need to finish. I'm like 3 years behind. I've got 2 embroidery projects, but I don't want to take embroidery. I know I can, but it just doesn't feel right because it's a cross stitch retreat. And I also have Pretty Little Seattle, which might be cool to take too, because that one's actually almost done as well. Maybe I'll take that and I can ring the bell twice. Anyway, I just wanted to add that little tangent. What else have we got? New blog posts. Let's talk about the new blog posts on my website. I am going to bring them up so that I can tell you the titles properly because I didn't write them down. So the first blog post I have is called 4 Reasons to Join a Stitch Along and 4 Reasons to Skip It. I know that a lot of stitchers have never tried doing a stitch along. I know I didn't try it until my first one, which is the Lola Crow Haunted Library. That was my very first stitch along that I joined. That was how I learnt the hard way to do like all the back stitching during each part, and that I really prefer to stitch in 18 count, especially for big pieces. So like that stitch along was a learning experience for me, but I wanted to write about sort of more generic things that are good and bad about joining a stitch along, because I've seen in Discord channels and stuff that people ask about it. So there's that blog post, and the other one is about this, about my tattoo. So it's a more personal blog post. It's not stitchy related in any way other than this is based off of Two Little Kits. And it's called A Daily Reminder of How Far I've Come. And it's, yeah, I actually fiddled with embedding a video into the post because I took some videos and pictures of the day itself, and I didn't want to upload that to my YouTube because it's not really related to what's on my YouTube channel. So I looked up how to embed a video into my website specifically, and yeah, that was cool to know how to do that. But you can see the process a little bit of the tattoo itself. So that's cool. I'm obsessed. It looks so cool. It looks more ready. Like I'm looking at the picture that I took. It's more ready now than orangey. So that's interesting. So yeah, those are the 2 new posts that I have on my website. And I did, like I said, I did have hopes that I would get a what am I packing kind of post too, but I haven't gotten around to it because it's felt kind of silly to work out what projects I'm packing too far in advance, because what if I finish a piece? So yeah, like for example, if I'd said that I was going to pack Life at the Cottage, that would have been silly because it's finished. I have to wait until after StitchCon to get the next part. So it would just take up bag space that could go to something else. What else is there? IRL stuff. The first thing is kind of haul-ish. I got some new stickers because I'm kind of obsessed with stickers at the moment. I have already put them places, but I do have one that's sort of separate because I was hoping to put it on my laptop, but it won't fit, unfortunately. It's this one here. And what does it say? I hope this email finds you before I do. That's just why I wanted to put it on my laptop. So it's that kind of style of designs. And who's it by? I should have, let me look it up because I want to recommend them because they did really good shipping and they're really cute designs. K Bowsy. I'll put a link in the description of their shop because I got them on Etsy. I'm just saving the link to their shop for myself. And I wanted to get some stickers, but I also wanted to support a artist that uses the hands, so human-made art. And they made it very clear to me that they do all their illustrations by hand and not using AI. They've got tons and tons of stickers, and they've got other stuff like car magnets and t-shirts and diaries and bags and stuff. So yeah, like I said, I'll put a link in the description, so check them out if you want to get snarky, silly, mental health adjacent kind of artwork that's like that. What else has happened? I got my hair done, which you may not really be able to tell, especially given 2 stitchy talk show episodes ago where I had red at the front of my hair. I hated it. I walked out of the salon and I'm like, I don't know if I like this. I'm gonna just sort of sit with it for a few days. So I did. And that day that I recorded that episode was the day that I got my hair done. I decided earlier this week that I just needed to do something about it. So I got some color oops and took out the front streaks, which has kind of bleached my hair just a little. You might be able to, depending on the light, you might be able to tell that. It's kind of made it a coppery blonde color, which I'm not happy about that, but I definitely prefer this over the red that I had. But I kept the red in the ends because I like that. I definitely will not be doing this bit again in the future, but I also am thinking that I will not do red again, that I should have gone with my gut and picked purple. But yeah, I got my hair done, so that's cool. The last thing that's happened in the last 2 weeks is my kids' birthdays. So if you're new to following me, then you won't know this, but if you are a long-time follower, you may remember that my kids' birthdays are back-to-back. So my youngest, her birthday was yesterday, the 11th, so the Thursday, and today is my oldest's birthday, the 12th. And so I officially now have 2 kids that are in double digits in age, which is just... My youngest had an awesome birthday yesterday. I took her out because she really wanted curly fries. I don't know, but I think she just sort of remembered that they existed, and I was like, well, you've got a half day of school tomorrow, like not tomorrow, on your birthday, and how about I take you to Jack in the Box and we'll get you some curly fries? And she's like, yeah! So we did that. And she's having her birthday party tomorrow morning and she's excited for that. So all is well there. My oldest, she got to unwrap one present this morning because she gets on the bus really early in the morning. So I couldn't let her she opens so slowly as well, which is fine. But when you're trying to get out to get to school, that wasn't doable. So she got to pick one present to open this morning before school, and then this afternoon she'll open the rest of her presents, and yeah. We had a little bit of a meltdown. If you don't know, my oldest is special needs, and she doesn't really like attention on herself very much. So birthdays especially, but also things like Christmas and Halloween and stuff like that, where you get presents or you dress up and things like that. They're really overwhelming for her. And I forgot to mention to her bus driver that she would not like to have her seat decorated, because I've seen that she decorates the seats for the other kids on the bus on their birthdays. And yeah, it totally slipped my mind. We saw through the window that there was decorations on her usual seat, and she just shut down. And I'm just like, oh no. So we had to take it all down, and she got her flowers and everything, so I had to bring like everything inside. I felt so bad for the bus driver because she's such a lovely woman. Eventually she got on the bus, and we only had 2 people that turned their car around because they couldn't go past the bus for legal reasons. Yeah. So hopefully she's had a better day at school than she did trying to get on the bus this morning. And I'm sure it'll get better when she gets home, because there'll be presents. And that's it. That's everything, I think. I'm just looking at my notes. Yes. Let me show you my tattoo again, because I love it. Wobble, wobble, wobble. Look at that. It's peeling a little bit there. I think is really cool. It does still hurt a little, especially this side, just because this side is like more tender than this side of your arm. Yeah, this bit is flaking more. I need to put some more cream on it, I think. Yay! I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. Please leave a comment for any of the questions that I've asked during the episode. I truly appreciate you taking the time to write comments and give me your thoughts and experiences. That's amazing that you take the time to do that. Don't forget to like the video if you did like it, and subscribe if you're not already. It really helps me out with the algorithm, as I'm sure every other YouTuber tells you, so sorry. But thank you for being here, and I will see you around the internet. Bye!